there it is. All right, well, good evening, everyone, and welcome. We're in the middle of our brand new Stampeder live chat for August 30th, 2017. Glad you're here, glad you're with us, and by all means, let's bring on the questions and comments and discussion about what's going on about the Calgary Stampeders 2017. By all means, send your questions, type them in. I'll try to get to all of them, and away we go. We'll see what happens with all of the different questions and comments that are coming our way. So let's wait and see what happens, and by all means, fire them up. Quite a few topics to get to today. I've got a few things I want to talk about, and those mostly deal with the season to date. Got some notes here. They're over here somewhere. Anyway, about the season to date and what is going on. To date, the Stampeders have had a tremendous season. Make no mistake about it. They're on top, and they should be on top. They're the favorite again to win it. But as we well know, that's a discussion for another day about winning the Grey Cup in the middle of this month of August or September, whatever it is. So by all means, we just want to know what you think about the season to date. I think it's been a real runaway hit. As far as the league is concerned, the Stampeders have been slow and steady climbing to the top. The Edmonton Eskimos are still a very good team. Winnipeg, I think you have to say, is for real. But, let's wait and see what happens with the Edmonton Eskimos. They're a very good team. Offensive line is becoming a concern. Do you see them bringing in help? They're going to have to do something. For those of you that may not have heard about it today, Spencer Wilson went down, and he's going to be gone for 6 weeks. Thumb injury. Here's a guy that was so completely reliable year after year after year. And now he's down for a total of 6 games. So it's not a very good situation for him, but we'll just have to see. Could they bring in someone like Xavier Fulton? You know what? They'd have to consider something. Right now they're using 3 imports on the line. Maybe they need a Canadian lineman. I don't know where that guy is right now, though, to tell you the truth. So let's wait and see what happens. But it is a source of concern. For instance, today we did not have, at practice anyway, Dan Federkyle did work out, but no sign of Cam Thorne. He didn't work out today as well. Neither did Shane Bergman. I'm not saying they won't, but, it's a situation where got to find something in a hurry here. Have I lost my feed? I hope not, but anyway, there we are. Brent, have we lost our feed there? Yeah, I think I accidentally hit the wrong button. Okay. Got my technical advisor, i.e. my son here, so right beside me. So there we are. We're back on it, so that's what's going on. Do I see them? O-line is becoming concerned. Lavertu done for the season? That's a great question I'm going to ask tomorrow, because I saw him walking around today, and I didn't get a chance to talk to him, but that's the obvious question. There's a big, rugged center. Is he ready to play? It would certainly help things if he is, but I haven't seen him do much of anything this year, to be brutally honest. There's nothing that would suggest he's really close to playing. So help in the short term, I don't know what they're going to do. Help in the long term, I don't know either. So we'll see. But I will ask the question about him tomorrow. He's a guy that is certainly going to be a help if he's healthy and everything. But right now he's not really healthy. So we've got to find out his exact extent. Any questions, send them to me via Facebook here. I'd love to talk to you about them. In the meantime, what I'm going to do, this is the midpoint of the season. And this is where different awards are presented, okay? Different awards are presented. At the end of the season, they have all those big awards about who's doing what and everything, all the individual awards. Well, I'm going to start giving out some awards for both the CFL and for the situation as it relates to the Stampeders, okay? All their different awards. So I'd like you to weigh in. If you've seen anything on it, let me know. I hope you're getting the audio here. Just send me a note if you are. Make sure it. I'm sure you are, but looks like everybody's getting the audio here. Yeah, should be going good. So, okay. Keep that up so you can see where the cards are. See where the cards are. Okay. Let's get to it. The Rookie of the Year is an award for the top first-year player of the league. The Stampeders have a pair of very, very good Rookie of the Year candidates. And let me just switch over here so I can get their... Oops, this way. That's better. So I can get their names in front of things better. Top rookies right now at the midpoint of the season for the Stampeders. Let's show them off here. Tunde Adeleke and Jameer Thurman. Both of those have been very impressive. Thurman has played an awful lot. He's been on the Big Four special teams. Adeleke has been a real important contributor as well, sometimes on returns. So right now, that's the way I've got them ranked. Thurman and Adeleke for Rookie of the Year. The League Rookie of the Year, I'm not going to give one out right now, and I'll tell you why. There's an issue with the league. They always put out a list of who's eligible for the Rookie of the Year because some guys, they got to look into their backgrounds. If they played some NFL, not NFL, that's an issue, and I don't know all of that for all teams. So for now, we'll hold off on the league's Rookie of the Year, okay? Maybe another day we can do that, and we can talk a little bit about that. Okay, where are we going here? All right. Next up, I don't need that one. Let's go to this one. Who is the top Canadian right now? The top Canadian on the Calgary Stampeders. Well, this is a tough one as far as I'm concerned. Let me just slide over here. Because you've got two that I think are almost dead even. Canadian of the Year for the Stampeders right now, I think it's pretty much a dead heat between Alex Singleton and Jerome Messam. Yeah, it's easy to forget that Singleton is a Canadian, but that's what he is. That's what he's listed as. So he's, right now, those are my two choices there. Almost a dead heat right now as far as who's the top Canadian on the Stampeders. Both have made big contributions. Singleton's been active on many, many plays. Messam is leading the league in rushing. Remember, he missed most of the Montreal game with an ejection and missed a few minutes in Toronto as well. So he hasn't played the entire season, yet he leads the league. So those are my two candidates there. For the League Rookie of the Year, or at least Canadian of the Year, there's three guys. Andrew Harris of Winnipeg is having a great season, but let's not discount Alex and Brad Sinopoli. The former Stampeder, now Ottawa player, is having a fabulous season as well. So I think all three are very good candidates, but I'd have to say that Harris in Winnipeg is probably the leader for the Canadian of the Year. If you agree, disagree, let me know. Put it down. Just wanted to make sure you could see it live and in color here. Fire away. Cindy Stephen has joined. Dan McLaughlin has joined. Good. Glad to see you're all on board. Okay. Next up, let's go here. Don't need that one. Who's the top defensive player in the CFL this year at this juncture? Well, I'll get to that after I get to the Stampeders one. And I've got a trio of Stampeders. I'd say Alex Singleton is the leader right now. But Seontae Evans in the secondary has been tremendous. And Charleston Hughes, when he's played, has been very effective as well. He's just got to play more. Remember, it's a composite of the first half of the season, not just the last few games. So you'd have to say Charleston Hughes has been very important in the first half of the season. But Alex Singleton's my guy right now. But Seontae Evans is having a really good season in the secondary. And who knows, maybe he can close the gap. The CFL Player of the Year defensively, well, I've got to put Solomon Elimimian right near the top. He's having a good season for BC. But let's not also lose sight of the fact that some other players are having great seasons as well. Alex Singleton, I just mentioned him a moment ago. Sean Lemon, just mentioned him from Toronto. He's having a big season. Heath with Winnipeg and Odell Willis in Edmonton. I would say this is fairly wide open right now, but there's a lot of good candidates. Solomon Elimimian is probably at the head right now, but don't discount Alex Singleton winning that award as well as the top defensive player in the CFL, with the others giving a good chase right now. So we'll just have to see what happens with those different awards. Okay. It's not the one I was looking for. Here's the one I was looking for. Top special team player. Who's the top special team player? No, I'm sorry. I got the lineman of the year. I got the wrong one. Special teams next. Well, my choice for Stampeder lineman of the year, it kind of took a bit of a dive today, but I had Spencer Wilson down. He's played everywhere. This is as much an accumulation of what he's done as actual good play, although he's played very well. And Shane Bergman I would put in there as well. Both have been very, very good, and they've been consistent on the Stampeders' offensive line. Look, you got the team, minimum of sacks. They've got the league's leading rusher again. Somebody's doing a good job up front. So who's the lineman of the year in the CFL right now? Again, this is at the midpoint, But I'm going to flip it and go right to Spencer Wilson. This is maybe as much as anything sort of a lifetime award for his strong play over the last little while. Last few years, he's been versatile. He's played everywhere. Again, he's been part of a line that has been very, very potent, allowing very few sacks. So, unfortunately, that's my thoughts as of this point of the season, but missing much of the last half of the season clearly will cost him that award. It's too bad because he's been the one constant on the line year after year after year, but now he's on the sideline, so finally the injury bug caught up with him. That's really unfortunate. All right. Do I have it here? I do. Well, let me check, make sure if you agree, disagree, send me a note on Facebook here. I'll just get to some of the comments here and see what is going on. Okay, let me hit that. Okay. There we are. Who are the top special team players for the Stampeders? Well, I've got to go with Roy Finch. He's having a great season as a returner, top in kickoffs and punts. Rennie Paredes again continues to have a terrific season. He was a little bit wobbly out of the gate, but in the last little while, he has been as reliable as anyone. And those one-point convert issues, well, they weren't any kind of a factor over the last few weeks here. So that's whatever was bothering him has been fixed. William Longley has been a beast on special teams. I think he's just been tremendous, charging down the field. So he's one of the three, but Finch clearly is among the league leaders. Who right now is the tops in the league? I've got Justin Medlock in Winnipeg having a very good season, but you can't overlook what Roy Finch is doing with the Stampeders. I think if he continues, he's going to be right up there as well. I would say Medlock is slightly ahead, but Finch isn't very far behind. So those are my choices for the top special teams players in the league. And, there we are, get that. Outstanding player on the Stampeders. It's kind of a tough one because, obviously some guys stand out, others don't, but they've got a great record. How do you single out two guys? Well, I guess I'm going to have to single out Bo Levi Mitchell and Jerome Messam, two of the offensive threats. Obviously, Alex Singleton having a good season as well. Maybe he's a guy that should get some attention as well, but there's the two for the Calgary Stampeders. Flipping over to who may survive and get through at the league level, I think you have to say right now, Mike Riley of Edmonton. Yes, they've lost a couple of games, but Riley's been a real force for the Eskimos. So is Ricky Ray with the Toronto Argonauts. Bo Levi Mitchell, all he does is win. His winning percentage is off the charts, and that's one reason he'll be here, and maybe he'll win it in the end. And S.J. Green, the receiver in Toronto, is also having a very good season. We can't discount the play of Matt Nichols in Winnipeg either, so I think this race could change. Riley's still the front runner, but I don't think this in any way is decided. So those are my choices for the various league awards. If you've got any comments or thoughts, or that's at the midpoint, obviously there's a lot more time to go before the end of the season. So we'll wait and see what happens with the various award winners that are going to be nominated in the next little while. So if you want to fire off a text, please do so. I just got to those different things. I know more and more of you are joining, and I'm glad to have you here. So by all means, send off questions, send them on the Facebook page, and fire it up, and I'd love to talk to you about what is going on and some of the questions and topics that are surrounding the football team. What grade would you give the Stampeders halfway through the season? What's your grade? Again, I give them an A. They're the top team in the league. It'd be pretty harsh to, cut them down and chop up what they've done wrong. There have been some things, obviously. They're not perfect, but I would say they've done very well in that regard. As far as any concerns going down the stretch, obviously injuries are always a concern, but that's kind of out of your hands. Bo Levi Mitchell continuing to play at a high level. That's very important for the team, and he has. And while we've got you here, can we just address all this stuff that has been and was flying around about Bo Levi Mitchell allegedly hurt? Is there pain? Is there some bruising or stress or strain? The answer is yes. Remember that Gate in Saskatchewan game? Went back to pass, and just halfway through his throwing motion, he was hit. Well, you try that. Why don't you throw and have somebody grab your arm? It's going to hurt. There's a bit of strain. There has been some grimacing. There's a little bruising in there, but he is hardly hurt. It's not even close to, let me put it this way. If he was really hurt, do you think he'd be playing? Do you think he'd be playing? Number two, he does all this drills and everything in practice. So he does everything in practice. So for a guy that's hurt, again, if there was ever a time to rein in his workload, wouldn't that be in the middle of a practice? And he does everything in practice. So, maybe some of your friends have heard all this stuff and everything. Just come here and I'll tell you the truth, what's going on. There is nothing going on. There's pain. There's a little bit of irritation. But let me ask you this. How many players could say that, would say that? I would say most have something. So, clearly he's the key, though. He's the one guy that they can't win a Grey Cup without. If you want to send me some notes via Facebook, please do so. I'll just hit refresh here and see if there's more coming in over the next little while and see what's going on. Glad you're with us here on this Facebook live chat halfway through the 2017 season for the Calgary Stampeders. I mentioned concerns. Injuries and constant retooling of the lineup is a big issue. But I don't see too many real big issues for sure. A lot of season left, that's for sure. My concern, running out of gas with the next man up. Yeah, I get it. You get hurt, you got to have a next man up, right? You got to have a next man up, and in some cases they didn't. That's why they had to make these two moves today. Look, Brian Hall and Aston Whitehead, two defensive linemen, were let go today. I think in particular Hall can and will play again this year. In fact, if the guys up north want to solidify their line, and they've been hard hit, I'd be giving him a call, but I'll let them figure that out. But I think he's a guy that would benefit the Edmonton Eskimos. The problem is they had a bunch of players they brought in to fill in for other guys that were injured. And now that the injury toll is starting to lighten, they just don't have room for everybody. Hall can play in the league, but it was kind of a ratio issue. Inside, they're committed to one Canadian, and Micah Johnson's taking over that other position. And the ends, they're just kind of rotating through. So, it's too bad for those guys. But as I say, you'll see Brian Hall, I am convinced, in a uniform. Do you see Grossman or Lavertu around practice? Yes, I see Lavertu. The other gentleman, no. He's been sent home, and I don't want to get too far ahead of myself here, but yeah, I see him. I'm not sure about his future there. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. But now we're going to ask about Lavertu. I'm a B, says B+, harder to please. Well, I don't know what you're unhappy about, but anyway, so be it. That's the way that goes. As I say, they let those two guys go today, and that was strictly a ratio issue just based on what they're going to do. Other issues in the second half, beyond Bo, the health of the receivers, just Bo maintaining focus, Jerome Messam continuing to grind it out, the line continuing to play at the pretty high level that they have played in. That'll be so important. Finch continuing his big returns. He turns the field over. He is so good. He is so quick, and he's got to continue doing that, and it's going to become more and more and more apparent that, in the off season, or at least the later season, big returns are going to be needed. Jordan and Mayo returning. Well, Mayo, he started the game the other day, but he just couldn't finish it. So they're going to be extra careful with him. Maybe he pushed it coming back. I don't know. He didn't do anything today, but I got to tell you, lots of guys did next to nothing today as well. And that's because they were, sort of in a light workout mode today, or lighter workout. They'll begin the heavier preparations. Kamar Jordan, I could see him in a week or two. He's certainly making all the steps. He's doing a lot of individual therapy and work to get healthy. So I think him coming back is very much a distinct possibility. Then they'll have to do some juggling. Nice jersey in the back. You like that one? You like that one? Jermaine Copeland? Yeah. I do too. I got a few of those kicking around, so I like that. So yeah, Jermaine Copeland, jersey in the back there. Hope he gets into coaching one of these days too, by the way. If you want to send me a note, we'll be here for the next little bit. But those are some of the issues. But I don't, do I see teams being able to run down the Stampeders? Yeah, I think, the Edmonton Eskimos are a good team. They've been hard hit by injuries. Coming into this game, look, they lost 2 in a row. The one to Winnipeg, you can sort of say, all right, good team. Winnipeg's a good team too. But I got to say, that last loss, if I'm Edmonton, I'm a little worried about it. They got just thumped by the Saskatchewan Roughriders. So, we'll wait and see. Winnipeg is, I think, for real, and I think they're a big threat. The Stampeders, of course, played them very early, but they're better than they were then. The last game of the year is against Winnipeg. Who knows what that may mean? It may mean playoff positioning for the Blue Bombers. It may mean for the Stampeders. I don't know. BC confounds me, but it's clear they've got a quarterback issue, and I'm not going to jump on the bandwagon with Saskatchewan just yet. Although, let's give them their credit. Walking into Edmonton and winning, when you talk about giving credit, they're tremendous. They're tremendous at giving themselves credit. So let's see what they do. But they did win. They've got back-to-back with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, who apparently will have Weston Dressler back. Okay? So, let's wait and see what happens. But they won, and they must deserve their credit for that. So let's just, wait and see what happens with these Saskatchewan Roughriders. But, one of the more frustrating aspects of the league this year is, again, how feeble the East is. Toronto's probably the best team there, but they'd be in the basement here. And that's a source of big concern, because I don't think they're all that bad a team at all. But they're in the basement, and their record's no good. Obviously, Ottawa's starting to get their act together. Will they? I don't know. Montreal, they are so erratic. I've had a lot of people, come to me and say, well, how'd they beat the Stampeders? I don't know. They did, but they did. Hamilton is a complete train wreck. This week, they changed their head coach. This is in the bye week, I guess. Spent all this time on the Art Briles case. And by the way, I'll just say this. I know the Tiger Cats took an awful lot of flack for it. All deserved, I might add. But the commissioner sort of says, I talked them out of it. The Tiger Cats say they talked to him before they announced the hiring. So somebody's leading us down the garden path here. I'm not sure what it was, but that happened. So he doesn't come. They work out Johnny Manziel. That's not working out. Now, are you ready for this? As if that isn't enough, Kent Austin is being sued by his previous school. They won $100,000. Here's the deal. When he left, he had a opt-out payment he could make to get out of his contract, and he hasn't made it yet. So they've written him notes and said, do this, and finally they said, you're obligated to pay it, and we're coming for it. So he's been sued for, I don't know what the whole story is, except he's been sued for $100,000. Wow. And you think 0 and 8's the problem. How's it going? It's going good there. NFL cuts happening. Any stamps possible? Well, let me put it this way. Their history is to identify talent and bring them up. And guys come in for the last few weeks of the year. Generally, they don't play. It's not sort of a big immediate pipeline, but sometimes, if a position gets hurt and this guy's showing, it's not a pipeline. So yes, they are out scouting. Yes, they are active, but do I think there's going to be several players arriving and playing? My answer is no, based on their past precedent. Truthfully, they've got enough players right now in camp anyway that they have to go through. It's a big list, and we'll just wait and see. The guys that are eligible to come off the 1 and the 6 game injury list and the practice roster. Again, I'm not saying they won't, but it's not their normal way to go. Eric Rogers, what's he up to? Okay. Nobody's exactly sure. The number one thing is he has to get healthy before he can play, and nobody knows exactly where he is. Last year he got injured in a drill. Now, it's been almost a year, and he ripped up his knee. Is he healthy enough to play anywhere? And right now, we don't have the answer to that. This is probably a terrible time for him to go looking for an opportunity in the NFL, because camps are full. This year, remember, in the NFL, they have only one cut-down day this year. In previous years, they've had 2 cut-down dates. This year, it's only 1, and it comes on Friday, and that's when teams will set their rosters, and, everybody leaves training camp there and figures they've got the best team since football was invented. They'll quickly find out some of them aren't, but some of them are, and injuries will occur. So where is Eric Rogers right now? He's rehabbing. I think he's looking for an NFL opportunity, which is what I've heard. Will that happen? Yes, it may in time, but immediately, not right now, just because of all those circumstances. So let's see what happens with him. So anyway, it'd be nice. Let me say this. Not that we need him right now. They'd make room for him. I really believe that, first of all, he's a free agent. He has no obligations to any CFL team. But he loved it here. He truly loved it here. So if the circumstances arose that he would come back to the CFL, Calgary would be his first and maybe only team that he would seriously consider. We'll wait and see. But clearly, he's an enormous talent. And his number one challenge is to get back on any field, prove that he's healthy. I do think, when you look at the number of NFL teams that either worked him out or talked to him during that courting period he had, somebody's going to take a look at him and say, you know what, let's bring this guy in for a workout. Let's see what's going on. We liked him a little while ago. I know he's been hurt. But let's take another look at him. So I think he will be, in a situation of getting an opportunity to at least work out for some teams. And we'll see where that takes him. I don't know. So anyway, but he's a talent. You put him, Kamar Jordan, Markway McDaniel. It's a pretty talented group, very good group of receivers there. So we will see what happens. Just a couple of quick notes. The Stampeders will be working out Monday's game. That'll be the 10th game of the season. Then they play again on the following Saturday in Edmonton. So looking forward to that and seeing what's going on. Obviously, this is a series that means a lot to both teams. The Stampeders are only in first by a hair. But you add up the Stampeders picture, what I found out through the years, it's far better to be the chased than chasing. I know it's only by a point. I understand all that, but it's far better to be the chased than the chasing, because you spend a lot of energy and a lot of focus trying to crawl over 1, 2, 3 teams, whatever it takes. In this case, it's one team. That's the Edmonton Eskimos. So there you are. Any other quick comments or thoughts about what's going on? If you do, let me know. I've just gone through. Any thoughts on my suggestions for who may win the various individual awards? Obviously, it's a big opportunity. Of course, there's always the saying, if you win a lot of awards, you don't win the Grey Cup. So maybe those awards aren't that big a deal. I know the Stampeders have got one goal on their mind. That's getting back and redeeming themselves in Ottawa. All right. A guy likes my Copeland jersey. I didn't know that would be so popular. Might have worn it. Maybe I will next time. I'll wear it if it's that popular and everything. So there you are. One other note I just want to bring up. I know you guys are the loyalists and the hardy of the hardy, but I just hope like heck I can find a way to fill that building on Monday. I mean, thank you for your support. I mean, you'll do what you want, but tell your friends too to come on out, because this team has earned your trust, loyalty, and support. And Labor Day is always a big day. Not much else going on that day except for the game. So let's see if we can get that place filled up to the brim. I don't know how many Edmonton fans will be, making the trek. I know for a few years they just quit. Because let's be blunt, it wasn't the Battle of Alberta or the Labor Day Classic. It was 2 teams scheduled on the same day. For a while there, Edmonton was a pretty brutal team, but they're very good. Let's give them their credit there. Definitely to sell it out. Well, give them a help. You'll talk to your friends. Can you see Claybrook's going to a head coaching job next year? I don't know. I don't think it's the craziest thing I've ever heard. He's a very well-respected, talented player. I'm not going to say yes, I'm not going to say no. You're also, how many openings will there be? That I don't know, but would he get consideration? I would think so. I mean, you look at these jobs, what's the path you go through, and you become an assistant coach and a coordinator and succeed at those. And, he's a relatively recently retired player. He's a very sharp customer, noisy at times, but so be it. That's exuberance, not anything else. So, I don't know, but I don't think it's the craziest thing I've ever heard. You'd have to say in many regards he's kind of on the same career path as Dave Dickinson, isn't he? Relatively recently retired player, worked his way through the ranks and became a head coach, and worked out pretty good for Dave Dickinson too. So anyway, we'll see, but love to do it. Will Bo ever go to the, oh my goodness, wish I could. I live in Texas. Oh my goodness. I'm telling all my friends to go to McMahon. Whereabouts in Texas are you, Justin? Let me know there. I work the south gate lots of times. I've been there, yeah. Will Bo ever go to the NFL? Well, I'm going to tell you this. This is a story I'm going to work on over the next little while. His contract is up after next season. I think he might contemplate, if there was an offer, not just a chance to show up in the Jacksonville Jaguars camp, but if he felt there was a legitimate opportunity to be the guy, not just to go there to, get the duffel bag and the T-shirt that says Jacksonville Jaguars on it or whatever. He might. But he loves it here. He is well paid, but his contract's up after next season. It's still a little ways away. It's something to watch. Will they try to sign him this offseason? Let's just follow that, because, there's a guy that if he doesn't win the MOP, he's going to be in the running for it, and it doesn't get much better than that. So, to make a long story, obviously it's possible. Mark, I need you to sign my 2014 Grey Cup jersey. Beaumont. Oh my goodness. Born and raised in Houston, just moved last month. So, oh my goodness. So Houston got it. Now the Storm's moving east towards Texas-Louisiana border. Oh my goodness gracious. All I can say is the images are just shocking. And Bo talked about it at length today, because he looks on social media, and he sees, roads that he drives down in Katy. There was a restaurant that him and his family regularly attended. He said if I was to go in there today and sit down, the water would be up past my chest. Think of that. So you're in a familiar restaurant, people, and everything, and it's ugly. So there you are. I'm worried. Well, yeah, I don't know. Are you worried about your health or about Bo? Right about now, I'd worry about your health and safety. Okay, Bo will take care of Bo. Okay, so there you are. All right. Well, we're done here tonight. I'm going to do another one of these in the next little while. And, I want to thank all of you for joining us. Hope to see all of you at the stadium. By all means, send me a note. Get a hold of me through the Facebook, Mark Stevens sports broadcaster at least. I routinely monitor it, and we'll get back to you just as soon as I can. I'm happy to talk to you at any time. If I see you at the stadium, be sure to stop and say hi. I enjoy talking to everybody, so there we are. Die-hard Stamps fan, thanks so much. Yep, it's horrible. At 50+ inches. Sorry for bringing it up. No, not in the slightest. That's real life. This is football. I love football. I love the Stampeders. Thanks so much. I own a ton of Stampeders gear. Okay. You rock, sir. Thank you very much. Well, that's nice. But as I say, we're all eager about the Stampeders. We all hope for victories. But Texas is real official life with, scenes of people literally running for their lives. That's a little different circumstance there. Anyway, thank you. Good night. And we'll talk to you soon. Appreciate you joining us.